Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the In Between the Stitches podcast. I am your host, Brady Wilson. Again, without my co-host, Chase Olschwanger. He is in Denver right now. I don't know when he'll be watching. Hopefully, he'll be watching soon. I'm gonna go ahead and text him right now that I'm live. He sent me his weekly picks. He got me again, which I'm sure he will be gloating about in the comment section. Which awesome that he gets to gloat about that. Um, but it has been, well, it's been a week of sports. You know, baseball playoffs have gotten started. Um, One team's already moved on. That's the Dodgers. They swept the Reds last night, and I mean, look, you gotta know that it's the Dodgers. They're going to be pretty good. You kind of have to know that going into that series that they're going to be pretty good, and I think that they proved that. I think I saw Otani starting game one, but we're going to get to baseball in a second. Right now, we're going to start with hockey because actually, good news, hockey fans, there is hockey news to talk about. And you may be thinking, but Brady, and there's been some guys that have signed, and I will have to go to the Trade Rumors app. Highly recommend for any sports fan that wants to stay up on news. The Ducks signed defenseman Jackson Lacombe. If I pronounce it wrong, I'm sorry. To a 8-year deal worth $9 million per season, so it's 8 years, $72 million. Owen Newkirk put on Twitter, I think yesterday, that like several new defensemen have gotten like new deals, right? And that Miro Heiskanen, they were talking about, can the Stars afford Thomas Harley? Can they? And I know he was like, I think they can. The cap should make two really sizable jumps over the next 2 seasons. I believe that they've gotten some really good deals from like ESPN, other places. I think the NHL is really hitting like a big time boom period here. I think the Four Nations did wonders for them. I think that it really helped bring like I'm not saying hockey's not mainstream in America. It's I would call it a mainstream North American sport when you factor in Canada as well. But I think as being a Stars fan growing up, they were always the fourth team. It was Cowboys 1. It was Rangers and Mavs, whoever was the most competitive at the time. And then, like when the Stars won the Stanley Cup, I wasn't alive. I was, -5 years old. But I have to imagine that it kind of took hold of the city. But the Rangers, Mavs, and Stars have always they're in the order of like success, right? So a couple years ago, they were all right there. Now it's the Stars. I think Stars and the Mavs fighting for that second and third spot. Rangers they're off to the side. Very unfortunate for the Rangers, but again, we don't have to get to them in a second, but we will have Rangers news. But back to hockey, it was, do we have enough cap to sign Thomas Harley? And it's like, I think, Newkirk was like, yes, I think we do. It's going to, the cap's going to jump. I think we do. But then he also brought to attention that Miro Heiskanen's contract now looks like a steal because I don't remember what it was, but it's way less. I believe it's, I don't want to say significantly, but I believe it's less. I know it's less expensive than what these guys are getting. And so, I think that he's right that to have Miro Heiskanen under contract, and I'm sure for the number that we have him under, that's it is a good deal. But Chase, you can just you know what? I'm not even gonna look at the comments. I don't even want to know what he's saying, because he went up. He got me both times last week because the freaking Jets are morons and can't win a game, and I'm learning to never pick the Jets again. I will say, Chase, I'll tease you. We have 3 disagreements this week, so I'll tease you just a little bit in that we do have a few disagreements, and we have our first teams on bye this week for the NFL. But sorry, this is even when I don't have a co-host to help me like keep zeroed in. My ADHD just goes to every other sport, and it's like, oh, that reminds me of this thing. Oh, that reminds me of this thing. Back to back to hockey. Good news. By the next time we talk, there will have been regular season games played. The regular season for hockey starts on Tuesday, October 7th. The Blackhawks are in Florida to face the reigning defending 2-time back-to-back Florida Panthers Stanley Cup winners. Penguins at the Rangers, and then the Avs at the Kings. On Wednesday the 8th, the Canadiens are in Toronto. against the Leafs. Bruins in Washington to face old Alex Ovechkin, obviously fresh off of breaking the all-time goals record set by the great Wayne Gretzky. They open up at home against Boston. Calgary opens up against Edmonton, and the Kings have to play back-to-back nights on Tuesday. Who did I say they were playing on Tuesday? They're at home playing Colorado. Then they got to go to Vegas and play the Golden Knights. So back-to-back games for the LA Kings. I almost said the Vegas Kings. And then don't want to say Sacramento. And then on Thursday, October 9th, when we record next week, okay, Blackhawks will be playing the Bruins. The Rangers will be playing the Sabres. The Canadiens will be playing the Red Wings. Senators playing the Lightning. Flyers playing the Panthers. Islanders playing the Penguins. Full slate of games. Devils playing the Hurricanes. Wings. Wild against the Blues. Blue Jackets against the Predators. The Mammoth, by the way, great nickname. Great logo, too. Against the Avalanche. That's a really fun matchup of, the Mammoth versus the Avalanche. Sorry, I think it's funny. Calgary against the Canucks. Golden Knights against the Sharks. Ducks against the Kraken. I think every team is playing. I don't think I've missed a team. And then, 7 o'clock on Victory Plus, the Dallas Stars open up their season against the team, the reigning President's Trophy winner, the team that they defeated in the Western Conference semifinals last season, the Winnipeg Jets. That'll be a big game, obviously. And then Friday, ironically enough, Friday, no games. Saturday, the Stars have to go from Winnipeg, wherever Winnipeg is. I'm not 100% sure. I'm not a geography guy. Got to travel to Colorado. Face the team that they played in the first round and beat. Obviously, all the Mikko ranting and stuff. And then, finally, the Stars do open up their home season against, I believe it's the Wild at home, Tuesday, October 14th. It's going to be on ESPN. That's a big game. So by this time next week, right now it's 3:23 Central Standard Time, we will be just a few hours away from the Dallas Stars opening up their season. And we will have some actual hockey games to talk about. So that's really cool. I probably will. I don't know if, look, I'm trying to get more into hockey, especially since I kind of miss having a third sport, since I really just don't watch basketball anymore. I keep up with it. I keep up with scores, who's hot, who's cold, who's whatever. But I think the NHL is just a better product right now. I think it's just, I just think it's fantastic. And so I'm trying to watch more and learn more. It's, I'm a beginner in terms of understanding people on the league. In fact, one of the ways I do that, when I was a kid, I knew almost every roster. I knew them in baseball and football because I played the video games. And I only really play franchise. So I'm constantly trading for players and signing players. And, well, who's this guy? And learn, and then, me being me, who's that guy? Let me look him up. That's what I would do. So I know I do play some NHL game, but trying to learn more of the players on other teams. I don't know the teams well enough to let's do a full predictions list of all, I think 32 teams. I don't feel, not that I don't feel comfortable. I don't feel like I'm knowledgeable enough to be accurate. Now, to be fair, I'm not accurate with football either, and I know football, so I guess I should just not do anything. But no, but with hockey, I think I will probably, because I think I know the Stars division really well. I might just do I think the Stars are going to do this. We might pick a Stanley Cup champion. Chase, start doing your homework. I might even do some homework and try to pick okay, here's who I think are going to go to the playoffs, 1 through 8, right? Or I might just say, here's who I'm going to say the Stars. Here's my prediction, and then here's who I think's in the Stanley Cup. Which I am probably going to pick the Stars as a homer. Because I feel I can't be objective, I probably will have a non-star Stanley Cup, which is literally just pick the other West team I think could be in it. Really what it is, because I think that the Stars are going to be in it this year. But that's your hockey update. Chase is normally our basketball update guy. Quentin Grimes, I think I just saw signed something with the Sixers. I was scrolling and saw Grimes sign, so I think he signed something. Unfortunate, because I know that The concern was us re-signing him. I don't know if we could have worked that out with the cap. Basketball starts. Chase, when does basketball start? I'm gonna wait for you to, because I don't want to keep just typing on my phone. So I'm gonna move to baseball, and then when Chase types in when basketball starts, I will regular season, not preseason. Um, well, the Rangers. It's a sad day. It was a sad day. I wouldn't say it was happy. You know. Well, I know it's training camp. 22nd. Okay, thank you. October 22nd is when basketball starts. Thank you, Chase. Um, Rangers and Bruce Bochy mutually parted ways. One of my favorite sports phrases. Because typically it means we fired him. We were just trying to let him leave with some dignity. I think this was actually a mutual parting of ways. I think CY has made it clear this offseason that they are going to cut some payroll. I don't think Bochy wanted to do another season where, and see, I think I came on the show and I said if Bochy leaves, that does not make me excited about the next season for the Rangers, because it tells me that a Hall of Fame manager just doesn't want to go through the grind of a season that where he might not think he's going to go to the playoffs. Because I don't think the grind of the season was getting to him. No, I don't think that. I think he still has the fire to manage. Even though I know that San Francisco has talked about that they would offer him a front office spot, not a managerial spot. I understand that. But I still think that he wants to manage. I just think that it's very unsettling to know that he doesn't want to manage this team, which lets me know I'm not excited going into this offseason. What's up with my hair? Well, I don't know. I'm trying to get it to go over and it won't go over. It keeps falling down towards my eye. It's also very poofy. I need a haircut, so. But anyway, this isn't lifestyle podcast. This is Bruce Bochy leaving. It sucks. It sucks to be without your Hall of Fame manager. It's, hopefully Skip Schumacher's the guy. I do think that Skip will be the Skip. That I will overuse that pun. Get ready. But it doesn't make me excited for the coming season, because it makes me think that we are, we're not going to be very good again, because we're going to have to cut payroll. I don't know what cut payroll looks like. Heim is probably gone. Adolis is probably gone. They want to re-sign Langford. I know they have interest in bringing back Coulomb, Armstrong, and Maton. Cool with all those guys wanting to come back. Apparently Maton's tried to sign here a couple times, actually. So completely cool with wanting to bring those guys back. I think that actually makes the trade more worth it, to know that, like, okay, we got them back. But Kelly's gone. He wants to be in Arizona. He's from Arizona. It's his hometown team. He lives there. He doesn't want to be here. Like, I think it was very evident from his first interview, he was not enthusiastic about coming here. And he only did it because I think he felt like the Diamondbacks didn't have a chance to get in the playoffs, and we did. Ironically, I think they finished closer than we did to the playoffs. Even though I think our record was better. But I think they finished like a game or two out. We finished like 6. So frustrating to think that Bochy didn't want to come back. And again, just not excited now. Very, very, very not excited. But the playoffs have been exciting to start. Again, like I said earlier, the Dodgers have clinched. They've already announced that Ohtani's going to start, I think, game 1 in the postseason. But right now, I middle of the 5th inning, it's Tigers 1, Guardians 1. The Cubs and the Padres are going to get started here in about a half hour. And then the Red Sox Yankees, 7 o'clock. It's going to be Early versus Cam Schlitter. I can't remember what Early's first name is. Tigers started Jack Flaherty. Guardians, I think, started. Did they start Bybee? I think they started Bybee. No, they started Slade Ciccone. My bad. Um, Obviously, Padres, they won yesterday 3-0. The Guardians, 6-1 over the Tigers. And the Yankees, great win, 4-3 over the Red Sox. That's been the best series so far, I think. And yeah, I'm a little biased because Red Sox are my second team. But not only that, it's Yankees. It's Yankees Red Sox. That's like the rivalry in baseball, right? Like I don't think football really has that. I'm gonna be dead honest. I don't think football has that kind of rivalry. Like it has rivalries that are probably that much hatred. Cowboys, Eagles, Bears, Packers, Packers, Vikings. Uh, who else? Raiders, Chargers, um, Washington, New York. I think all the NFC East, we all hate each other. It's got rivalries. San Francisco, Seattle, but none in football except maybe Packers, Bears rival Yankees, Red Sox. I think Yankees, Red Sox is the best rivalry in sports. And I know people are, but the Yankees, the Red Sox have to win. Well, the Red Sox do win. That's the thing. Is like the argument for years, especially before I was born, was, well, the Red Sox never really beat the Yankees. It's always the Yankees beating them. So is that really a rivalry? But over the last 25 years, 04 ALCS, Red Sox have won have won what? 2 world championships since the Yankees last won theirs. So I mean, I think it's a rivalry now. And then you look back at the history of it. Sure, the history is the Yankees typically beating them. But over the last 25 years, it's been, I would say, Red Sox run. So now, and I think, so it's always fun when, Broncos versus Chiefs, but I don't think any rivalry in football matches the hatred of Red Sox Yankees. Like the amount of history, I think the amount of hatred, some of them might come close. This is my opinion. People could, have a different opinion. The rivalry, I think that hockey, I don't know enough to, say yes or no. In basketball, I think there's only one rivalry that's as good, and that's, of course, Lakers Celtics. That's it. And it's weird because so that's kind of that's kind of like Yankees Dodgers, except for the fact Dodgers used to be, in the same city as they used to be, Brooklyn, right? They used to be same exact region as New York. As the Yankees. So that rivalry kind of it's more East Coast West Coast now, like that World Series, right? It's East Coast versus West Coast. Yeah, go back to the history of Yankees Dodgers, and it's not East Coast West Coast. It's East Coast. There's the majority of the rivalry was Brooklyn Dodgers versus New York Yankees, not LA Dodgers versus New York Yankees. But anyway, point is, Red Sox Yankees have been a great series. Obviously rooting for the Red Sox. The Dodgers will face the Phillies. Go Phillies, please. I don't want to see the Dodgers win. Please save us. Whoever wins between, I believe, Yankees, Red Sox goes and faces the Blue Jays. And it's Tigers, Guardians going to face the Mariners, which I think means the Mariners are probably going to go to the NLCS. Me and Chase did do. That's what I'm like. I'm missing something. Chase, this is why I normally have you. You're not. You're Ravens, Steelers. Yeah, NFC North. That's a good point. I like that this discussion has happened. Chase, this is why I normally have you. Completely, utterly forgot that we needed to do our playoff predictions for baseball. This is the last thing I want to do for baseball before we move on. Chase, out of the wild card, had Tigers, Red Sox, Dodgers, Cubs. Brady, me, had Tigers, Red Sox, Dodgers, Cubs. Okay? Right now, we're batting 100 there. Coming out of the divisional series, which would be Mariners, Tigers for both of us, I have the Mariners. So does Chase. Chase also has the Red Sox beating the Blue Jays. So do I. We both have the Phillies beating the Dodgers. The one disagreement now is that he has the Brewers beating the Cubs. I actually have the Cubs upsetting the Brewers. They stole their manager, and they're going to upset them. Sorry, I'd love to see them win it because for Uke, but I don't see it. Championship series. He's got Mariners over Red Sox. So do I. He's got Phillies over what would be Phillies over Brewers. Would have Phillies and Cubs. I also have the Phillies. So we have the same teams. We have the same World Series matchup, and we have the same World Series. No, we don't. He picked Phillies. I'm picking Mariners. I think it's their year. I think they're going to go 1-1 in the World Series. I'm gonna make two takes here. The first take is that whenever the Mariners make their first World Series, they're gonna win it. And I think it's gonna be this year. One of those takes will be true. I am confident. Even if it's not this year, whenever the Mariners eventually make their first World Series, they're gonna win it. I think I said the Tigers were gonna win when it was like in the 9th inning, and it's because that's when I woke up. Like I had woken up, laid in bed for a little while, and then completely forgotten to text Chase. And so without looking at the score, I picked Tigers. And then he was like, that's really fishy. It was really funny. There's your baseball update. Quicker episode. Football. I want to talk more about the Cowboys. Man, that was a crazy game. That was an absolutely insane football game. And one that I want to talk about. Now, if you go on my Twitter, which is at capital B_Dubs DUBBS 42, that's a picture of me with infinite stitches on it. I am verified only because I'm verified for a couple reasons. Chief among them, when I try to interact with other creators, that makes me feel weird saying that. Whenever I try to interact with other people on the app, right, having the check mark, you're more likely to get interactions. People are more likely to follow you. It's not because, I think I'm a big shot, I'm going to get verified. It's simply because you get more engagement. You're more likely to get people to interact with you. It's more beneficial to have that little check mark than to not, in my opinion. That way, they also know I'm not a bot. I'm not a troll account. I'm putting some money into getting verified. You should follow me on Twitter though, because I do tweet a lot, especially during games. But this is something that I got inspired by John Owning to do, and I put that on there, and he actually commented. It was really cool. Thank you, John. But I really want to start putting like threads of my breakdowns because I watched the film. But in my opinion, as much as I love to watch it, I would watch it for nothing. But I may as well also, because I want to try to make it in this business, I should also start putting that analysis online. And so that's what I'm going to start doing. Now, I had a midterm yesterday. I had another big assignment yesterday for another class. Classes have been crazy this week for me, so I wasn't able to get offensive analysis on there. And now that it's Thursday, I feel like it's time to move on to the Jets. But I did get defensive stuff up there, and I had it ready to go Tuesday. And then Twitter has this glitch where it won't send my posts, and I have to like go in and double send it, which usually it works. This time it wasn't. It wasn't working. So I had to find a little loophole, which I was able to get it to send. It was still wonky. The app is very buggy. If only, there wasn't massive layoffs for people that might have been doing, things in that department. Anyway, point is, I do breakdowns, and I want to talk about the Cowboys first. And I'm going to read directly from my breakdowns here, essentially, and then kind of talk about it. So if you saw them, whether on my Facebook or on my Twitter, you're going to have a good understanding of what I'm talking about. If not, go look at them, and you'll understand. I have a clip, both the sideline angle and the end zone angle of the All-22 film, and then kind of a quick little, here's what's happening on this play, and then I'm going to now come on here and talk about it more. This is a new segment that I am instituting. These are 10 defensive plays. I picked 10. I tried to find what I felt were the 10 most critical plays. I could pick 20 of 10. I could pick 20 plays, and then some of them are just, I really like what this guy was doing, right? It was a first down in the second quarter, but I really liked what, Jack Sanborn did here. Didn't say that a lot in the film, but still, there were a couple plays. So we start with a good play, and this is early, and it should be in chronological order for the most part. I think one got flipped. It was the second play of the game for the Packers. So it looks like they're running like a little counter. Osa just shot right through the B gap. Kenny Clark comes in and cleans it up. I talked about it I have said on the tweet. This is the best interior defensive line duo I've seen for the Cowboys in my years of watching Cowboys football. For reference, I have watched 95% of the games in 2014. 2014 is my entry point. Great year to enter into the fandom, to be honest with you. But not that I didn't watch Cowboys football before that. I don't have too many memories of Cowboys football before that. I would argue, I have to go in and count, but I would be willing to bet I have watched 95% of every Cowboys regular season and playoff game since 2014. There may be and probably the majority of those misses were 2015 when we were not very good. And my family and I was, 11, and we may have been doing, and I was a big enough football fan to get my mom to let me stay up for like big games, but I wasn't. She was not yet willing to let me skip things to watch the Cowboys. Now we have an understanding. Every Sunday in the fall and winter, it's the Cowboys. Before that, and I would say that came in 2016, 16 to 18, somewhere in there. But this is just a good play from Osa. I mean, this is just a really, really good play from him. So happy that we paid him. Deserves the money. He's been great this year. I think Kenny Clark. Now we get down to the red area for the Packers. Ezraku does a great job. They pull the right guard. It's his job to kick Ezraku out. He does a great job of blasting the guard, not getting kicked out. Okay, he stays square. He's able to get underneath the guard and make a tackle. Just a really, really great play. And Ezraku had a really, really, really good game. I'm very encouraged. I think now he might have some confidence, like, okay, I can play in this level, right? And I think the Jets are, they're the Jets. Maybe he has I'm calling it now. I think he has his first career sack against the Jets. By the way, if we have an edge rusher have a sack in that game, Cowboys fans might explode. This was one of the bad plays. There were 7 bad ones, 3 good ones. 3rd and 1. Pressure's kind of there. Sam Williams. Love rolls to his right. Williams stretches his arms out and just gets a little bit of the face mask, enough to turn Love's head. And it's a 15-yard penalty and a free first down. And I know there was defensive holding. That was also a very, very weak call. If Williams had gotten the sack and then they called that holding, we would have been throwing things on our television. That's how bad it was. He, grazed the guy's, hip with his arm. He did not hold him. He made contact. You could have maybe called illegal contact downfield, but I think it was just a weak call. And just an unfortunate 3rd down play that gets called back because of penalties. And then the final good play was obviously the strip sack from James Houston. Does a great job to convert speed to power. If you don't know what that means, he's going to run fast. I'm going to kind of break it down. Quick off the edge at the tackle, right? Tackle thinks, okay, he's going outside. Tackle starts to flip his hips. Sometimes guys will do a spin move back to the inside. They'll do a slap swim. They'll do some stuff, try to get back to the inside. Houston just goes, no. We're not going to do that. I am going to go to the outside and then sidestep in and then drive you back out with a bull rush. It's just a great, great play. And he's able to get around, get the edge, get a hand on Love as he's back here, gets the ball out, falls on the ball. Cowboys are able to get 7 points on the board because of that going into the half. And then you got the ball. And then, of course, I think I know that if we tied people, it's easy to say, if we could have just gotten 3 points, we may have won that football game on that first drive out of the half, and we didn't do that. So this is probably the best play the defense made all game, and by defense I mean James Houston. Just being honest, and he needs to be on the field more. The next play is a cover 1 will blitz call. This is actually man coverage here. The will is Kenneth Murray. He's going to run into. At first, I didn't know what he was doing. Then I actually listened to Brian Broaddus, and he enlightened me that what he's doing here is he's running into the tackle to pick him, like in basketball, and then Fowler comes back around to the inside, and he's got a free lane to the rusher, or sorry, to the quarterback, and Fowler doesn't do that. So now it just looks like Kenneth. So it makes Kenneth Murray look like the idiot, because if Murray just rushed through that gap, it's going to be an easy sack. Right? I mean, if Murray just rushes straight to the quarterback, right, it's a sack. And I thought, why didn't he do that? It's because he's doing what he's told to. Sure, the running back's there, but still, he would have been able to get into the quarterback's face. And the throw, I believe this was third down, was outside the numbers, little out curl to Dobbs. Bland's playing it, and he's playing it to bait Love. I'm looking at it again here. He's trying to bait him into a pick, and he's just a tick late. Misses the tackle. It's a first down for Green Bay, and it's frustrating because it's something that you could have executed. If Fowler had come back inside, got his hands up, maybe he blocks it, maybe he forces Love to go somewhere else. Who knows? Another play, it was an out route. I don't remember what down it was. It was in a little out route to him. It was not even an out route. It was a check down. Pressure forces Love to roll left. He checks it down. Liufau misses a tackle. About three other guys miss a tackle. And what turned into, a nice little gain turned into like 20 yards because they couldn't tackle. And it was frustrating. And then the next play was probably the most frustrating one for me watching the game. It's third down. You're gonna get off the field because pressure forces Love. Again, pressure was actually there more in this game. The defense played better. The 40 points don't show that. The film does. They played better. They were bad in three categories, and they're the three most critical categories. Getting off the field on third down, not committing dumb penalties, and I'm blanking. Tackling. They failed at those three things. Those three. If they do those three things, they win that football game. Because the Packers don't score 40 points. Third down. Pressure. Ezeraku had a great rush here. Just a beautiful slap throw on the tight end. And he is like about half a second or less from reaching Love. Love can feel the pressure, though, just gets the check down. That's why the throw wasn't very good, because Ezeraku's breathing down Jordan Love's neck. He is so quick off the line, Love's almost sacked. If it's someone that's not as mobile, not that Love is like, super fast. He's not Lamar Jackson. But if that was like, Russ can run. I'm trying to think of, I don't say Aaron Rodgers. That feels like almost every quarterback. That's like J.J. McCarthy. If that's like J.J. McCarthy, it's a sack. But I have people texting me during the show, and it keeps distracting me because I have to have my phone up because I have things that I have to talk about that are on here. It's an incomplete pass. Third down. You're thinking, great, because you have time to think before what happens next. Liufau's running and just knocks the crap out of Emmanuel Wilson. And it's 15 free yards. A free first down, free 15 yards, like he's Oprah. And I believe they scored a touchdown on that drive. I think they scored a touchdown on every drive. So, you're off the field. Your only job now is to jog to the sideline, and you blow the guy up for no reason. The ball bounced in front of you. You can look. Liufau sees the ball and just says, no, I'm going to go hit this guy. That's what's frustrating about this game. The defense could have helped you win. And every time they could have helped you, they just shot themselves, not even the foot, they shot themselves in the head. On the touchdown on the little post from Dobbs. It looks like cover 3 or cover 6. I can't tell. Diggs makes it kind of hard to really decipher this coverage. It's zone because Elam thinks he has help, which is what makes me think this is cover 3. I think Elam thought it was cover 3, and he has that middle deep zone. But I think whoever it was cover 6, and he has the big zone. The other two are quarters on the other side. He doesn't have that. I think he got the coverage wrong. It's busted, and it's just an easy touchdown. Just bad football in the red zone. Can't have that. Less than a minute to go. Packers trying to they got to get a field goal. No chunk plays. You can let them have 2-3 yards. You can't let them have 15 or more because they're only going to have a few plays. Cover 4 is the call. It's executed well. Check down route. You missed the tackle, went for 25 yards, which essentially put them in field goal range. Again, defense had a chance there. Blew it. Now we'll get to the big one where they really blew it. Through all of this, all of these moments, they still had a chance to win the game. Overtime. You're up. It's 4th and 6. It's cover 2. I like the cover 2 call because it's going to take away any of the underneath routes. Right? It's 4th and 6. Okay? I would rather sell out for the 6 and stop that. And if they get a big time, if they run, let's say, something up the seam and it's wide open and they get 40 yards out of it, cool. I would rather protect against the thing that extends their drive. I would rather do that. Because if you can get them off the field, it's game over. There is no, there's no other thing. So I like the call. I said that a lot, actually, during the film, which was, I like this call. The players screwed it up. And Matthew Golden is on Kenneth Murray. Kenneth Murray's on Matthew Golden. Not a great spot for a linebacker to be in. It's a little curl route over the middle. Love never took his eyes off of Golden. His eyes, snap, he's looking at him. He might peek more to the left, but he's got his eyes on Golden. And Reddy Stewart, who's got the zone right where the curl route would be, starts drifting to his right, away from the receiver. For some reason. I have no idea why I did that. And he's looking at Jordan Love's eyes. He's looking at Love, looking to his left, and he starts doing this. That little, 2 steps to his right creates the throwing window. First down. Chase was our group chat was like, bro, Flus, how could he call? It's not on Flus. He makes the right call. The Packers actually ran underneath routes, which is what cover 2 stops. And your player does something, and I'm going to watch tape with Donnell next week and maybe even have him on the show, hopefully. We'll see what happens. And I want to show him that play and ask him, as a defensive back, can you explain to me why he's doing this? Because I don't understand. He's looking at Love. He's reading his eyes. That's zone coverage. You read the quarterback's eyes. The quarterback's not looking over here. So why are you moving over there? Maybe he thought Love is going to look him off of somewhere, then come back. I don't look him here and then go back there. You have a corner over there. You've got a guy. There was no zone integrity. And it's a first down. And I firmly believe that Love was throwing that ball to Golden, regardless of what the coverage was. If Stewart stays off, he's not on him. If he just stays where he is before he takes the 2 steps to his right and Love throws that ball, that's a pick. Worst, it's a pass breakup and you win the game. But I think he picks the ball. That's what's frustrating. So there's your Cowboys film study. Just frustrating from the defense. They played better, but those little things they're gonna have to get better at. They're going to have to get better at those things. If they don't get better at those things, it does not matter. You didn't like the call on fourth. I understand that, Chase, but the call was correct. Cover 2 zone is actually a really good call for 4th and 6. It's actually a really good call. And your player didn't execute it at all. That's on Stewart, not on Flus. Was Flus missing tackles? These guys are in the National Football League. They can't tackle because they don't know how to do that. And Nick, I know you're watching. I know you get annoyed with, they don't teach tackling anymore. Well, they freaking should. NFL coaches should not have to deal with guys that can't tackle. Sanborn was infuriating in this game. His angles were awful. And he's getting beat. He didn't have the speed. So the call was right. The call was right. Just wasn't executed well. And man, let's talk about our predictions. Don't want to talk about last week. Chase got me again. Yippee. Move on. This week, Rams, 49ers. Look, man. I mean, this is going to be a story of doing this segment here. A lot of injuries. Purdy out. Pearsall out. Juwan Jennings out. I mean, a lot of guys out for the Niners, which is why that me and Chase are taking the Rams. Higbee's doubtful, but we're both taking the Rams in this game. Cowboys, Jets, we're both taking the boys. You got the Panthers next week too, so these should be 2 games that you win. I don't care if you have to barely beat them. Just play. Win these games. The Jets are 0-4. You should be able to beat the freaking Jets. And not only should you be able to beat the Jets, but Braylon Allen's probably going to be out. Justin Fields are quite. The only thing I'm worried about is no Jets, I think, team has ever started 0-5. It's either, I heard, it was just from Rich Eisen. It was either no Jets, he either said no Jets coach who started out 0-5, or he said no Jets coach who started 0-5 in his first season. Whatever that case may be, I don't care what the case is. It's the desperate team theory. You don't want to catch a Jets team that's desperate for that win. You have got to play this team the same way you played the Packers, at least offensively. And we'll get to that, and not even we'll get to that in a second. You're down a lot of people. Like, it's sickening how many people are out right now. Your injury report. Kevontae Turpin did not practice. Tyler Smith did not practice. Miles Sanders, Kenneth Murray. Miles Sanders did not practice. Murray was limited. Lamb, no practice. Marshawn Nealon, limited. Hooker, not going to play. They've already announced one year he's going to be the starter. Guyton did not practice. Trevon Diggs, limited. Tyler Booker did not practice. Deron Bland was a full participant. The only good news is that Jonathan Mingo and Kalen Carson both started practicing this week. They were on IR, so now they're eligible to, basically how it is if you start the team on the IR, start the year on the IR, you have to be on the IR for 4 weeks. And then after those 4 weeks, you have to, you get a 21-day practice window. So you have 3 weeks to ramp up. After those 3 weeks, the team has to make a decision. So, but man, I mean, right now, you could be going into this game, and Tyler Smith apparently is dealing with a knee injury. That would mean your only starter on this line going into this week is Terrence Steele. It's probably Nate Thomas at left tackle. It's probably Hakeem Adeniji at left guard. Brock Hoffman and TJ Bass in the other parts of the interior. While I actually like a lot of those names, that's not a great spot to be in. other good news, you don't want this to be because Miles Sanders got hurt, of course, but it looks like Jaden Blue is going to get to start. Not start, but he's going to get to play, which is really, and you know what? I think that he's going to have a great game. So I think he's going to show why. And look, fans are going to if Blue has a bad game, fans are going to be see another wasted draft pick. If he has a great game, fans are going to go, why wasn't this guy playing the first 4 weeks? I'm just going to go off of I'm trusting Shoddy to do what's right for the team. Anyway. Both taking the Cowboys. I still think we're the better team. Defense has got to play better, though. Vikings at Browns, both taking the Vikings. I mean, Browns are starting Dylan Gabriel. I do want to weigh in on the Shedeur Sanders thing that happened this week. He's a clown. I love the people that are like, you don't like him when he talks. You don't like him when he doesn't talk. It's not about him talking or not talking. It's what he is. It's specifically what he says when he talks, and then what he does when he doesn't talk. When he talks, he comes across, at least when he talked to NFL teams, he came across as a pompous, arrogant little rich kid that felt entitled to everything, that was taking FaceTime calls in the middle of draft meetings. So when he talks, he doesn't come off great. So what? So, but yeah, you're right. If he declined media, that would be a little bit. So just instead of, it's not the fact that he's talking, it's what he's saying when he's talking that bothers people. And then when he doesn't talk, it's not that he just says, I'm going to decline to comment on that. He does this. He does that crap. He pantomimes it. This is where I don't know if I could be a locker room journalist like that. I don't know if I could do that because I would call him out immediately. I'd have the mic in his face and just be like, dude, really? I'm trying to do my job here. And you're going to do this crap? Really? Like, those media people are a lot nicer than I am about this. They may have found it funny. I wouldn't have found that funny. They're trying to do their job. And you're being I want to cuss and I'm not going to, but you're being a jackwagon. No respect from him and for him. So yeah, am I rooting on his downfall? No, I'd love to see him succeed, but at every step he makes me not like him. So give me the Vikings though. So same with Chase. Texans at Ravens. Look, the Ravens are super banged up right now. Lamar's out. I mean, how many guys are out on that team right now? I mean, Awuzie did not practice. Kyle Hamilton did not practice. Marlon Humphrey did not practice. Lamar Jackson did not practice. Travis Jones was limited. Emory Jones was limited. Patrick Ricard, Roquan Smith, both did not practice. I mean, they are hurt. Nate Wiggins, limited. For those reasons, I'm taking the Texans. Because the Ravens are they're going to have like second, third stringers out there. I think it'll be a sloppy game. Chase is going with the Ravens, though. Agreement there. Dolphins at Panthers. Tyreek Hill's knee exploded. The Panthers, that's who I'm taking. Same with Chase. Colts at Raiders, give us both the Colts. Saints at Giants, give us the Saints. Obviously, Malik Neighbors is out for his ACL. I think the NFL definitely has to have a conversation about turf at this point. I think there definitely has to be a conversation. Definitely. Because when FIFA comes in, they're mandating grass. They care about their players. And then the NFL teams, instead of just keeping the grass, are just going to go back to turf. It's cheaper. If the NFL really cares about player safety, if they're that concerned with the safety of their players, they need to all go to grass fields. I don't care if it's indoors. Figure it out. Figure it out. Figure it out. Because we can't have this anymore. This is getting ridiculous. But Neighbors will come back better than ever, of course. We're both taking the Saints. Next game, Broncos, Eagles. Give me the Broncos. Chase wants the Eagles. I think the Eagles are a sloppy team that's been getting away with it the past few weeks. I think the Broncos are a more fundamental team. I think they're gonna beat them with that. We're both taking the Seahawks over the Buccaneers. We're both taking the Cardinals over the Titans. Brian Callahan needs to be fired. It's laughable. I liked what Cam Ward said. I liked that he said, "Yeah, we're not good." Yeah, he said we. If he had said those guys, that's a problem. He said we. We're not good right now, and so I actually had to respect him for that. Um, Chargers over the Commanders. That's what Chase is going with. I'm going with the Commanders. Chargers are banged up. They're without both starting tackles. They're going to be, yeah. You know what? Chase? I actually want an asterisk here. Um, if Joe Alt plays, I want the Chargers. That's how much of an impact I think he makes. If Joe Alt plays, I'm making a little note here. I want the Chargers. If he doesn't play, I want the Commanders. Lions at Bengals. We both want the Bengals. I mean, the Lions. Whoa. Bengals are just laughable right now. Patriots at Bills. I think the Patriots will put up more of a fight than people are giving them credit for. But give us both the Bills. And then Chiefs Jags. We both want the Chiefs. Screw the Jags. They got me last week. I don't like them. So there's your weekly predictions. Cool announcement that I'll be putting on all my stories. I am doing the Denton Ryan Alito game tomorrow night on the North Texas Streaming Network on YouTube. Very excited for that. Don't want to tire out my voice. Hey, I did almost an hour here by myself, so I think I deserve some credit for that. But hopefully, some of you guys will be tuning in tomorrow night at 7 for that game. It's going to be a big game. I'm really excited. I'm going to put that on all my social media to try to get people to go watch. We're expecting a lot of people to watch. Mike Leslie's going to be there. He's covering the games. This is a big game. It's district. It's 5A. It's Friday Night Lights, man. I'm super excited. So if you're tuning into that, you will hear my voice again tomorrow night. If not,